What is up, everybody? It's your boy Young Fizz, aka mr.dopestasus on Instagram, and welcome back to another video. So today I have a topic that I want to do a short discussion on, and I'm going to ask a question. And the question is, has technology changed the way your music sounds? And I bring this up because there's two pieces of software out there, and there's probably a lot more, but there's two that I'm kind of thinking of on the top of my head, which is Serato Sample and then the MPC stems. And they both have these features where you could basically manipulate your sample. So when I say manipulate, you could chop up the drums by themselves. You can chop up the piano by themselves. You can chop up the vocals by themselves. So you can really just extract different elements from that sample, right? Back in the day, I think about early production, and I think about how producers would have a ASR 10 or a MPC 60, and they had a limited time to chop up a sample. And to get the sample sounding a certain way, they would have to basically use either a high pass filter or a low pass filter to filter out or even notch out stuff that they don't want in the sample, or that they do want to hear more in the sample, right? So nowadays you have, again, software where you just download an MP3 from the internet and you can just get right to work on the sample. You can chop it up, you could add a filter on there, you can change the different levels, you can change the key. But back in the day, it would take a lot longer to do all that. And the converters in these ASR 10s and MPCs, they were a lot different. But nowadays, this is all being done from software. So it goes back to my question of, has technology changed the way you produce music? I know for me, my sound has certainly changed over the years, because when I first started, I started using the Roland FA76, which is this long 76 keyboard that I still have today. But then I later upgraded to the Roland Phantom X6, and that was the last keyboard that I bought. That was like the end of the experience of me producing in hardware, because I used to literally do everything inside of the Roland Phantom, you know, from producing, mixing, all that stuff inside of the Phantom. So today I use things like the Machine with Serato Sample. You know, you have loops that you can download and buy off the internet. There's so much different software out there, you know, whether it's Ableton, FL Studio, people still using the MPCs, people still use their ASR 10s. I use Machine Plus. So much technology and just different instruments that you can purchase that's on the market today. And it goes back to my question of, has it really affected your sound? You know, one thing for me, back in the day, there was just something about tracking out your sample, right? You would hook up your analog cables to your machine or your computer, and you would track the beat in. But nowadays, you just make the beat all digitally, and you're pretty much just playing it back from your speakers. And I say this because, and it's a whole nother topic I don't want to get into with today's discussion, but it's the conversion, right? Because back in the day, when these people would sample stuff or some sort, they would have a turntable and they would plug it into an MPC 60, an ASR 10, and sample getting that texture from those specific instruments. Nowadays, you have your interface. The interface has become the link between the audio and your computer, right? So you have the analog domain, which is anything going into your interface, and that's coming through your interface, converting that signal into the digital, which is, you know, the digital domain, which is your computer. And now those sounds are being manipulated inside of the computer, and then it's pushed back out digitally to analog. And that's a whole different, you know, conversation with converters. And so when I talk about analog versus digital and how it affects the sound, I think this is all important, because you have what I call front end audio, which is anything before the computer, right? So if you have a microphone, maybe you plug into a preamp, and, you know, it's all hooked up analog, versus the digital. You have your microphone going straight to the interface. Everything is being processed inside the computer and then being pushed back out digitally, you know, D to A, and that's what you're pretty much getting. And so when I say front end recording, I'm referring to, you know, the different preamps or whatever you have to get your sound sounding good before it gets recorded. And even that converter going into your computer is important, because that's going to determine how good the recording sounds. Whether you're on a Mac or Windows PC, those converters, those drivers, how stable that is, all that stuff matters, because you don't want to have pops and clicks and other noise and artifacts in your recording. So with that being said, it kind of takes me back to the question on hand. Has technology changed the way that you produce, and has it affected your sound in a positive manner, or has it had a negative impact on your sound? So at the end of the day, I want to know what your thoughts are on this topic. Leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. We out.